Again, the same Masons that run your national rigged selections, they run your National Fixed League, your Nothing But Actors League. That's the NBA. Of course, the NFL is the National Fixed League.
Thank you for calling the Massachusetts Governor's Office. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the latest information about COVID-19, please visit mass.gov/COVID-19. If you have a question or concerns, please leave a detailed message with your full name and the best phone number to reach you. A staff member will follow up shortly to assist. Please note that this call may come from a blocked number. If you would like to leave a message for the governor, you may do so after the beep. Thanks again for calling and have a great day.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, I am a concerned citizen calling about the bill that you enacted early that further infringes on the Second Amendment. And I noticed that you did that October 3rd, 33 days before the election. And of course, we once had the late, great JFK from your state, who was killed on 11/22. Sure, we can do the math there. 11 plus 22, 33. In Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. And again, Masonry is based in Kabbalah, and I've called a lot of government offices about this. Kabbalah has something called Gematria. The police did a song about this, and one of the members of the police, Stuart Copeland, his daddy was in the CIA. But again, the lyrics go, murder is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. Well, in that ABC 1, 2, 3 code, Massachusetts equates to 33, as does Kennedy, as does Masonry, as does federal, as does secrecy, as does order. And then what's curious is the date you signed off on, 10/3, the word Scottish also equates to 103. And you signed the bill on July 25th. That's the day leaving 159 days left in the year. Like Scottish Rite equals 159, and so does Donald Trump, who's of Scottish ancestry, who just had the scare supposedly on the golf course on 15/9, 159 years after Lincoln was shot, and the same day the Secret Service was created. And then it's funny that you implemented it 70 days after you signed it, because of course RFK Jr. is 70 years old right now, and he's partnered with Trump, and he officially got in the race when he filed his paperwork on 4/5. And next thing you know, Trump has an assassination scare 45 days after JFK's birthday under the 13 stripes on the 13th of July, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Secret Service. There's a lot of 13s on those Scottish Rite temples too. So again, they etch on the temple, as we know, all is number. We know the capital city is known as the Masonic city. We had founders warn us about the significance of certain secret societies, including JFK himself, and he wasn't a founder, but of course he was the one who got shot in an area named after a Mason. And it looks like you're doing a Masonic ritual to further undermine the integrity of this nation, what it's supposed to be about. So I am saying shame on you. I would hope that you would retract what you've done, and I would hope to see more politicians get on board with what the country was originally supposed to be about: protecting ourselves from enemies, foreign and domestic, through a First Amendment, through a Second Amendment. And the original concept of that Second Amendment was that we were supposed to have weaponry on tier with the government, because tyrants do take over governments. And what I've learned is the tyrants running this nation work by this same repetitive code. This whole 33 thing. Have you ever looked into 33 years before 2001, the year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code, and World Trade Center construction began in New York? In 2001, Space Odyssey came out, and George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones, a Masonic order where the alumni are called bonesmen, which also equals 33. I mean, this stuff goes on and on and on and on and on. And, it's funny because old Thomas Jefferson, he was one of the founders that warned about secret societies and name names. And he said, if you do not have a revolution every 19 years, you will lose your rights and liberties. And back when I was a child, I read that, well, more like a teenager. And I thought, why 19 years? And then I realized the moon's on a 19-year cycle. And then I realized we got COVID-19, 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers, which came 19 years after the war on drugs, which came 19 years after the war on JFK's head, which came 19 years after the year we deployed the most troops to World War II. And all these wars have essentially been wars on us. We've lost rights and liberties. Sure, we go to 13 years of slave school, pledging to 13 stripes, learning about how great these wars were. But really all they did was brought about central banks and more taxation. And as far as I can tell, a lot less freedom and liberty worldwide, a lot more tyranny, a lot more rituals by the numbers, like seemingly you're participated in. And by the way, Governor, you know what's crazy? Have you done the gematria of your own name? Your name, Maura Tracy Healey, equates to 177, and JFK was killed 177 days after his birthday. And that's interesting because the Jesuit order equals 177, and it was Jesuit priests who wrote the rights of the Scottish Rite, where we began. So anyhow, if you want to give me a call back, my number is 509-560-4982. Again, 509-560-4982. I'd love to have an interview with you as well if you'd like to talk about these things. I am an author, and I have been exposing federal tyranny for over 11 years now, and I'm waiting for one of you to resign from your throne of the tyrant, if you will, and do something that's actually heroic and worthy. Because I haven't seen any of that from any governors in this land. I haven't really seen it from any politicians. About the only decent one I've seen in my lifetime has been Cynthia McKinney, and I know she ended up losing her spot in Congress for punching out a security guard who wouldn't let her in the building. So, and again, the reason she was a hero is because she was the one that heavily questioned 9/11, where almost nobody else did. Isn't it funny how that same thing that was a massive lie that undermined our rights and liberties followed that same 33 pattern that you're now bringing to the people of Massachusetts? So we'll see what's next. We'll see what's next, Governor Healey. Help America heal by doing something right instead of tyrannical. And you know what else? This might not be exactly politically correct in 2024, but I do sometimes think that part of the reason the founders didn't want women in office is because women are emotional. Just like how the media is always trying to play on people's emotions, which is the main strategy for getting them to give up their rights and liberties. And I don't think you're doing a good job for women who might feel that way when you're probably making the biggest infringement to date on the Second Amendment. So you should also think about that. It might not be politically correct, but again, the founders did have reasons. And, I do love women, but women definitely, it's like my sweet lady. She wouldn't argue with me. She knows women are more emotional. Get a woman on the wrong day, man, you might just lose the whole country. So, and hopefully you didn't go the Kamala Harris route, if you know what I mean, but we'll save that for another time. It's funny how she was riding Willie's Willie at age 60. Now she's about to turn 60 just in time for the 60th election. And then what happened to Donald Trump's wife? He pushed her down the stairs 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year. It's like, again, be the hero, not with this gang of criminals and killers and tyrants and thugs and people who push their wives downstairs. And we need one of you to be a hero. A lot of people, think about all the little kids that believe in you out there. All little kids that think, oh, Governor Healey, I want to grow up to be a Governor Healey and do something good for my country. Why don't you show them what something good actually looks like? It's not undermining the concept of the country. That certainly isn't it. All right, Governor Healey, you take care now.
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review it, to send your message now, press 1. To mark it as a message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another, thank you.
All right. Maybe one of these days we'll get a call back. I mean, what do you think over the years? You think that's the 100th call? 100th call? We still haven't gotten any calls back, but you just never know. All right. Here, let's try one more. Yeah, if you guys, this is the new thing too. We used to actually get people's voices on the phone. Now all we get are recordings. Let's try the Springfield office. You just never know. I don't feel like leaving another voicemail though. Oh, we got the Washington, D.C. office too. We'll try that one. Try them all here.
Thank you for calling the Massachusetts Governor's Office. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the latest information about COVID-19,
isn't it annoying how COVID, it's just like, oh, there's the big priority in the country, COVID-19. Yeah, that's what I was calling about.
For concerns, please leave a detailed message with your full name and the best phone number to reach you. A staff member will follow up shortly to assist. Please note that this call may come from a blocked number. If you would like to leave a message for the governor, you may do so after the beep. Thanks again for calling.
All right, one short one.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Yes, this message is for the governor. I was hoping I could talk to a live person. It just seems these days in the age of AI and big tech, it's hard to find a human voice out there, and taxes keep going up, so I'd think there'd be even more employees on the phone lines, but so far it isn't so. Anyhow, I am calling to let it be known that I'm not so happy about the latest infringement on the Second Amendment by Governor Healey, and I just wanted to get clarification. Is it just a coincidence that you bumped up the date to October 3rd, 33 days before the election? Is it just a coincidence because that 33 number with guns and politics, I mean, it probably rings a bell there in the state of Massachusetts with what happened to old JFK, killed in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason on 11/22. And if I can do my math right, after 13 years of slave school, pledging to 13 stripes, I'm pretty sure 11 plus 22 is 33. And I'm pretty sure those are also the master numbers in numerology, which slave school taught me was for weirdos. But then lo and behold, these Masons who founded the nation, man, they were a bunch of weirdos, I suppose, because Freemasonry is very much based in numerology. That's because it's based in Kabbalah, where it's stated all is number, and God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And Kabbalah has this numerology practice of encoding numbers into words. And lo and behold, if you actually look into it, which they didn't teach me about in slave school, but I wish they would have, Massachusetts equates to 33, so does Masonry, so does federal, so does secrecy, so does order, so does police, so does Kennedy. And there's only 1 month in the whole year that equals 33, and it's October when you do this, 33 days before the election. Am I reading into things too much, or am I onto something here? And again, I don't know why you politicians think it is so kosher to go against the First and Second Amendment. I don't see any of you guys trying to write bills to stop big tech from totally destroying the First Amendment. And I understand they're a private company, but you know what? They are very un-American, and they very much have destroyed our ability to communicate in what is the town square or the central square of the modern era, which is online and social media. Again, I really feel like that's what all of you should be doing, trying to restore what America is supposed to be about. But all I really see is silence on the issues that matter. Championing. I didn't go to Ivy League schools like you guys. I can't quite get it out, but you know what I mean. You guys are championing bills that make this country everything but what it was supposed to be. So again, if you could reconsider, if you could maybe retract the bill and maybe even do us one better, bring back the original integrity of the Second Amendment, where we are allowed to have arms on tier with what the government has. And if that sounds insane to you because you guys have such capable weapons, again, maybe you need to think about the insanity of the weapons that our taxpayer dollars have developed. And as far as I can tell, haven't really done any good in the world. blaming men in caves for demolishing the towers in Manhattan when we all know the Manhattan Project was to develop those big old bombs. Called it the new Pearl Harbor as buildings 1, 2, and 7 came down in New York when Pearl Harbor was on 127, December 7th. Not to mention those buildings came down 33 years after construction began in 68, the same year 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code. If I'm not mistaken, your state was heavily involved in that ritual, wasn't it? How many planes came from Boston? So anyway, we need heroes, not tyrants. Over and out.
If you are satisfied with your recording, press 1. To review, to send your message now, press 1. To mark message sent. To disconnect, press 1. Thank you.
All right, I got. I'm seriously not going to leave a message this time, but I just got to see if anybody picks up at the DC office. This has been the new trend for, I'd say, a couple of years now. I think it's been about 2 years since we even had you know where the last person who picked up? It was a mass shooting in Alabama synced with the governor. If you guys remember that one, that was the best one I ever did because the guy who picked up the phone was cool too. And he was like, wow, I've never heard these ones before. It was like he was into what I was saying. It was almost like he was trying to be like, I have to go back and listen to it myself. But I remember that guy in Alabama, he was all right. That was the last time we got anybody on the phone.
Sorry, William Lasky is not available. You cannot record a message for William Lasky. This mailbox is full. Hello, Cisco Connection Messaging System.
You can't even leave a message at the DC office. Hey, by the way, look at what the address is for the DC office, 444. You guys remember the significance of that, right? Just a little reminder. Anything that is 74 in English gematria is 444 in Sumerian gematria. So like Masonic. The DC office in the Masonic cities at the address of 444. Okay.